Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on 13 Now. My name is Tessa Bentulan. This is your 7 p.m. headlines here. Tonight is election night. You have just under 2 more hours to vote. The polls close here at 9 o'clock, and we have full coverage for you, starting from Rachel Teedy all the way down to Kumi Tucker, Stella Porter, Sabrina Dami, and Dan Levy are all across the state tonight, covering all the elections for you. So let's go ahead and start with Sabrina Dami, who is down in New York City in Manhattan, covering Governor Kathy Hochul today.
Hi, Tessa. So I just got inside the venue here in Lower Manhattan. The venue is called Capital, and I just went through security. So I apologize for the lighting. It's quite dark where I'm standing right now, but I will kind of let you see behind me the setup, the big screen. You can see on this angle all the photographers who are set up. So this is going to be in a couple of hours what Governor Kathy Hochul is hoping will be a big party. The polls, as you said, close at 9 o'clock, and those results will come in, and they will, of course, be having them on this giant screen right here. The Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado, expected to be here as well. And, of course, a lot going into this night with all the momentum that's been behind this race. So we will continue to be here. We will bring you live coverage at our show at 9 o'clock on My 4. We'll be with you for 3 hours straight. And, of course, Tessa, you'll be updating people, you and Elaine, right on YouTube. So we'll send it back to you.
Okay, Sabrina, thank you. All right, and let's move on to Dan Levy, who is out also in Manhattan area tonight, and you are covering Lee Zeldin, the Republican candidate for governor.
Indeed, I am, Tessa. Good evening to you. 42-year-old Lee Zeldin believes that New Yorkers are ready for change, and quite frankly, he believes he is the right person at the right time to make that change happen. For the last 18 months, the Long Island congressman has been circling the state. He's been trying to convince New Yorkers that Democrats are responsible for rising crime rates and for rising inflation. Now, whether or not that message resonates with voters, I guess we'll find out in just under 2 hours from now. We know that Democrats outnumber Republicans in the state by more than 2 to 1, but if enough Democrats abandon Hochul, and if independents fall towards Zeldin, and if the GOP convinces enough of their own to come out and vote, well, perhaps there is a path toward victory for Zeldin, and that, of course, is what they're hoping for at Cipriani's restaurant in Midtown Manhattan. That is Mr. Zeldin's watch party headquarters. Now, either there will be a grand old victory party for the GOP here, or else there will be a less than grand concession speech, but we will be here when it all happens, when it all unfolds, and history in the making here tonight, Tessa.
And that's very true, Dan. We'll see what happens here in the next couple of hours, and we'll join back with you live on News Channel 13 later tonight and later on 13 Now here. Thanks, Dan. All right, moving on to the next biggest race here. We're moving on to the 21st Congressional District. We have Kumi Tucker, who is out in the field, as well as Rachel Teedy. We're going to go to Kumi Tucker first. And Kumi, you are in Castelli's watch party tonight.
The Castelli election night headquarters. We are at the Park Theater, outside the Park Theater, on Park Street in Glens Falls. I'll just give you a little look around at the neighborhood, since we are standing outside right now. The venue is expected to be the campaign headquarters tonight. He is the Democratic candidate for Congress. There he is in the video. He's a political newcomer hoping to pull off the upset. He's a former CIA officer and director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council. He served in both the Obama and Trump White Houses. He lives here in Glens Falls, and his supporters hope that they will be having a victory celebration here tonight. It is a tough fight. His opponent is Republican Representative Elise Stefanik, and the sprawling 21st Congressional District is mostly red. Castelli said he wants to restore trust by returning government to what it's good at, working across party lines to solve problems. He says in Stefanik's 8 years in office, she's made headlines, but actually accomplished very little. So he wants to be the one representing this district in Washington next year. We will be here all night at the Castelli, at Castelli Central, at the Castelli election night headquarters, and we'll keep you updated.
Okay, Kumi, thank you. Castelli's got a tough fight ahead of him. And now we're moving on to Rachel Teedy, who is, like Kumi has said, you were out near Elise Stefanik tonight at her watch party, and she has held this seat for years now. So she's going to be a tough cookie to get down from this seat.
Yeah, I think she really is, Tessa. She was first elected in 2014. This would be her 5th term if she was elected tonight. I'm not at the watch party currently. This is an extra ballroom in the hotel. The watch party happening next door where they're setting up everything, waiting for people to arrive. But Stefanik is very confident about the results that she expects to come in tonight. She is one of the top-ranking Republicans in the House. She's chair of the House Republican Conference, and former President Trump telling Fox News today that he supports Stefanik as the GOP conference chair if she were to be reelected. She's running on a number of issues: crime, Second Amendment, inflation, saying she wants to lower price of gas, home heating, utilities. And she tweeted today about focusing on the needs of law enforcement. She's been endorsed by many of them. We talked about some interesting stats earlier in our newscasts and about what New Yorkers think of her. We're going to talk more about those coming up on News Channel 13 Live at 9 and 11. She has also been controversial. She's backed candidates who falsely claim that former President Trump won the 2020 election, something that's been proven false numerous times. So, of course, we'll continue to bring you live coverage throughout the evening. And again, like Sabrina said about Hochul expecting it to be a party, that's also what Stefanik expects for her watch party here tonight. So we'll keep you updated if that turns out to be the case.
Okay, Rachel, thank you. We'll see what happens for the rest of the night. All right, moving on to last but not least, Stella Porter waiting in the wings for us. She is outside a watch party now in Binghamton. She traveled just about 2 hours. You are covering the new 19th Congressional District. Josh Riley and Mark Molinaro, I always get that name mixed up, are fighting off tonight.
Yeah, Tessa, this is going to be a tight one. Some of the latest polling from Siena College showing this race is within 5 points, which is the margin of error, showing Riley leading at this point. But this is going to all come down to who turned out today. So I am at Riley's watch party currently. We're at the DoubleTree in Binghamton. And I don't know if you can see behind me, not too many people here yet. Lots of campaign staff setting up, doing audio checks, making sure all the tables are set up and everything is ready to go for tonight. There's also apparently going to be some Broome County Democrats also here. Looks like an assembly candidate. There are signs for Hochul here. So kind of like a meeting point for local Democrats here is what this looks to be. But we're also monitoring Molinaro's watch party just under a mile away from here at another hotel in Binghamton over at the Holiday Inn there. So we'll be keeping a close eye on both these candidates looking to represent this newly redrawn district, and we'll bring you those live updates as we get them, Tessa.
Okay. Stella, thank you so much. So as you see, a lot to unpack tonight. You still have about an hour and a half to go vote out at the polls. They close at 9 o'clock. Make sure to cast your ballot. And that does it for us in the 7 p.m. YouTube newscast. But our election night coverage continues all night long on My 4 from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. We have everything you need to know from the panelists, from the polls. We have a new Survey USA coming out that breaks down what people are thinking in this election, what issues are most important to them. Mark Mulholland will be in studio for that. And also on News Channel 13, 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. That's where we're going to move over there for election night coverage. And we're continuing our coverage online here on YouTube. Myself and Elaine Houston starting at 9 o'clock, running all the way through midnight, doing pretty much the same thing right here nonstop. And it's a little more off the cuff. It's a little more loose. We get to talk a little bit longer with some of the panelists that are going to be in here. We get to dive deeper into some of the polls that we looked into. We also will have some of the interviews that we did earlier in the day, talking with some of the voters and what issues were important to them. So that is going to be all diving into starting at 9 p.m. on News Channel 13, on My 4, and right here on YouTube. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Have a great night, everyone.